So what's going on, everybody? So my boy Elijah just made a video request asking, can you please explain how to incorporate self-discipline into daily life? And I absolutely love this question. I got 7 steps for you on how you can do it. Step number 1 is coming up with a clear-cut objective. Often we like to set up goals and habits and say, oh yeah, I want to get healthy, I want to procrastinate less. But what exactly does that mean? If you want to get healthy, you say, okay, I want to, for the rest of my life, take at least a 30-minute walk every single day. And then you're able to track it. You can see either, yes, I did it, or no, I did not. And you notice that it's more specific. Your mind knows like, oh, this is real. This is no longer a lot of leeway, maybe, yes, no. And you're holding yourself accountable to that specific metric. Number 2, in the moment, we tend to get very ambitious as to what we commit to, but then when time rolls around, it's like, it's a little bit too much, and then we feel guilty when we fall off track. So instead of having that happen, dial back whatever goal you have set, and it's perfectly okay. Now you may be thinking, well, the goal is then going to be extremely easy, and it's not going to feel like a challenge, and that is precisely the point. You want to secure a win. You want to have a little bit of momentum, and you can always add on more as time progresses. In fact, you will. But at the beginning, we tend to agree and bite off more than we can actually chew. For example, if you want to spend less time scrolling on your phone and you spend 5 hours every single day, and I say, how about you spend 15 minutes less? You're like, 15 minutes less? Okay, number 1, super easy. Number 2, that is nowhere close to achieving the goal that I have set out. But I'm like, yeah. But for 2 weeks, if we can just have you do 15 minutes less, there's absolutely no excuse, according to your own definition, that you can't do it. And then once you get that win, we can ramp it up as we need to. But you need to secure that win. And that happens by lowering the level as to what you're trying to accomplish. Number 3, set up a daily alarm to track whether you are successful in your goal or not. Now, you can feel guilty that you didn't accomplish a certain day, so you need to reassess your idea of success and failure. At that point in time, you are a scientist. You are collecting data. Was it a success or was it not? Because you're going through the process of trying to improve. You want to be kind to yourself, and you just want to see, okay, this is currently where I stand. I'm pushing myself just a little bit to progress. Then in the future, I can reassess, I can figure out, okay, what was working, what was not. But now you have actual data. You have results to back it up. And this is powerful at the beginning and as you continue, because then you can say, wow, I actually improved by 40%. This process is working. This is incredible. I want to do even more. So the best way of how to do that on your phone, everybody carries around a phone. You can figure out your own way, your own system. But effectively, there's a set time every single day that you need to track whether you were successful or not. Number 4, be kind to yourself. As you go through this process, you may find out that you're not hitting that 100% success rate that you initially thought that you could, that you promised yourself. Now you may start feeling like a failure. But you're not a failure because you're trying something new. You're attempting to progress. You're keeping track as to what you're doing. And you're doing something that you've never done before. You have the best intentions in mind. You're trying to improve. And the cool part is you can always reassess and figure out what's working, what's not. You could discover like, okay, I wanted to go for a walk every single day, but in the morning time, I'm just too rushed with eating breakfast, getting ready for work. I find that once I get done with work, that may be the better time. You're like, oh, okay, that is actually a great finding. Boom. So you make a tiny tweak, adjust it, and then all of a sudden you're back on track. Number 5, and this one's one of my favorites, and that is to map it. Yes, create a habit map. Effectively, you're just journaling in a sense. Now this could be on pen and paper, can be on the whiteboards. I got 3 big whiteboards, or when I work with clients, I actually do this with a program called Miro. Now it doesn't matter necessarily how you do it. It's effectively, you're taking all these kind of thoughts, feelings, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and you're documenting it step by step. And once you see your process, you can't unsee it. So for example, if you're struggling with your diet, you may notice that you tend to gravitate towards food comfort food when you're stressed at work. And you're like, whoa, I didn't think about that. Okay, now I realize that. Well, what is now a good approach to work around that? Oh, maybe when I'm stressed out at work, I go for a walk first, but then I can still eat. I can still do that, but I'm just making it a little bit more difficult in that approach. And then as you continue on, you can adjust it. It comes like almost like a program, if you will, like a cycle. You can look, I'm like, okay, I typically go through here, this step, that step. Wait a sec. Okay, 3 months went by. I dealt with this before. What did I do? Boom, you take a look. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So even if you create it and you never look at it again, you just have the awareness as to how you operate, how you function, what is the issue, and what is potentially the best solution. Number 6, have somebody hold you accountable. And it really doesn't matter who it is. It could be somebody in your family, a close friend, a stranger. It doesn't matter. Effectively, they need to come back to you within a certain time frame and say, look, you wanted me to check up on you. Did you do this? You said you're going to take this specific step, this specific step. Did you do it? And now it's not just like, oh, you make a fake promise to yourself and you don't fulfill it. It's like, shoot, they're going to call me out on it. I don't really want to feel judged. I know they're going to be asking about it and they're going to be like, hey, you doing okay? Like, and that is great. That can be a very, very powerful tool. So then as opposed to like, well, what difference does it make? It's like, well, I told my brother and my brother is going to really like come at me, which it doesn't matter necessarily if they're more strict or they're more kind. It's just the idea that they're going to come back and you're going to have to answer to somebody. Number 7, if the task that you're doing doesn't give you like that instant dopamine, like good feel right away, it's going to happen down the line. Find out a suitable, a good, a healthy, constructive reward for doing that. See, our brains, it doesn't really understand very well that if I do this action right now, I'm going to feel really good down the line. It's almost as if it doesn't understand that there's a future self. It knows like, okay, in the future I will feel better, but what about me right now? I just put in all this hard work. I got no reward. But then there's different things such as when you eat food, you get that instant reward, scroll on the phone. So if you do something that is progressing you towards your goal, you want to kind of reward your brain. Find something that is positive, beneficial. Maybe you really enjoy reading a book. Or maybe it's not something that's super productive or healthy, but it's not that bad. Like maybe it's just a little treat. You reward yourself a little bit of screen time because you're like, hey, I deserve it. I had that self-discipline. I'm good to go. The main idea is that you were intentional with what you're doing. You intentionally made progress on what you wanted, and now you intentionally have a specific reward that you're giving to yourself. So if you're looking to become more self-disciplined, definitely take those 7 steps. And if you're looking for more of an expert to help guide you through that, take a look at the link that I'm going to provide because that's exactly what I help my clients get through. So if you like this message, please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.